Hi guys, Ant here to talk you through the Tom's Studio Pocket Fountain Pen. Now this is a brand new release and it is going to be priced at around £85, which puts it squarely in between the aluminium Namisu N2, which is around £40, and the black version of the Gravitas Pocket Pen here, which is €105. So somewhere in the ballpark of these two pens. This is a pocket pen design with a push-pull cap, and as you can see it has an octagonal profile which with these sort of mini bevels in between, so it's actually kind of 16-sided. It feels really nice as you roll it around between your fingers, and the flat side works as a roll stop. There is a texture on the inside body of the pen, which is what you use to grab and pull. And as you can see, there is a pair of O-rings here on this protrusion, which is what grabs the cap inside. So there's no threading or any other kind of closing mechanism. So this is very similar to the Namisu, as I'll show you in a second. There's a delicate ribbing texture all the way along the pen, and the section curves slightly down. Inside, standard screw-off section, and you're provided with a Schneider black cartridge, a little bottle of black ink, and a spring-loaded syringe to refill the cartridge, which is a really nice touch. I've had this pen for a couple of weeks now, and it hasn't dried out in that time. I've been using it on and off. The nib is a Tom's Studio branded steel. There's a whole range of additional nibs that you can swap in, starting at around £15 on the Tom's website, including Architect, Italic and Flex options. I would have liked to see this nib be silver coloured. I'm not quite sure yet what the different colours of pen and trim are going to be available at launch. This version is obviously black, as you can see. I always prefer a more modern silver coloured trim than the gold that you've got here. The feed is black plastic, and that's pretty much it. There is a breather hole here on the cap. That doesn't seem to have affected the drying out, but should, I hope, stop a kind of vacuum drawn burping effect when you uncap the pen. The pen is obviously too short to hold unposted unless you want to write a quick note or something. So you can post the cap on the rear. This is as far down as it goes, which means you are left with a really quite a long pen to write with. Now this is where I'll bring in the Namisu to do a comparison. So you can see the Namisu has a very similar aesthetic. There is a knurled knob on the end to pull, which is twice as long as that on the Tom's, and obviously it has a clip here, whereas the Tom's goes with a roll stop instead. Inside you've got 3 O-rings which provide the grip, and a very similar kind of feeling starts to emerge. You've got a number 6 nib, you've got the O-rings for posting, but the Namisu slides all the way down, so you end up with, well, you can control it because the O-rings give you enough grip, but you end up with a normal size pen. I find this much more comfortable than the Tom's, which is just a bit too long for me. Obviously that will depend on your personal preference. I've had this uncapped for a little while, so I expect a little hesitation. There we go. But actually this nib is a little bit soft. It has generous flow. I think it's a medium. And yes, it's a medium, and it writes really rather nicely, exactly as you'd want a pocket pen to be. Not too ostentatious, not too wet. It just works. Reverse writing is okay too, and you end up with an EF line. So no complaints there at all. No complaints about it being cartridge filled, and the little inclusion of a syringe filler is really nice. So for the price, this is obviously more expensive than the Namisu. It's less expensive than the Gravitas. I think it's a pretty decent little pen, and I like the aesthetic with this very square-ended look and the facets. I like that the roll stop is functional. When I first got it, there was this knob. It was a little short, and it was a bit frustrating trying to pull the pen out, but it's loosened up a bit in use. And now overall I find it a very practical little thing. My only complaint, apart from the gold trim, which is entirely aesthetic personal preference, is that length. If this could post a little bit deeper, bring it down to the end of the actual screw off section, I'd be a much happier chappy. And this is, I think, the first time I've ever asked for a section to be shorter. I'm normally a fan of long sections, but that overall pen length is a smidge too much. So this pen should be launching this week on around the 4th of May, if the latest message from Tom's is correct. I understand the launch has moved a little bit. As I said, I'm not 100% sure on which colours are going to be available at launch, but the price will be £85. And this black is certainly a handsome choice for a practical pocket pen. So that's everything I'm going to run through today. Please do shout if you have any questions. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the review. Thanks a lot.